Back, the big story that we continue to track coming out of the valley, and of course now multiple locations sending more information that is now coming in from Delhi as well. That's the big story that is now coming in that CNN News 18 broke first. In fact, my colleague in news18.com breaking that big story that the security forces have identified that man, Abu Ismail, to be suspected as the man behind the attack in Amarnath, in Anantnag on the Amarnath pilgrims. He's a Pakistani national, Abu Ismail, belonging to the Lashkar-e-Toiba. What we also know is that there have been several meetings that have been taking place that have been taking place here in the capital. But I believe Zakir Jacob is back with us from the newsroom. Zakir, it's over to you.
Joining us now is somebody who's got very, very strong views on terrorism and Pakistan-sponsored and funded terrorism. Joining us now is Member of Parliament Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who's made an attempt in the past to pass a bill to declare Pakistan as a terror state. Thank you very much, Mr. Chandrasekhar, for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. First, I want your comments on what happened last night at the Amarnath Yatra, this dastardly attack. You know, do you reckon this was an attack on the composite and the syncretic culture of Kashmir? The Yatra, of course, represents the very best of Kashmir, and by attacking the Yatra, they're trying to divide the people of the state and perhaps even beyond.
No, I think this, and I said this yesterday to somebody who asked me, the attack on pilgrims is low even by the already low and abysmal standards of Pakistan. Unarmed pilgrims who are out there just doing what they consider is their religious right and duty. To do that is really, first of all, despicable and dastardly. What the objective of these Pakistan-backed terrorists are, is it to cause discord in the Kashmir, in Jammu and Kashmir? Is it to turn Indian against Indian? And I think the answer is yes. But as we have shown repeatedly, whether it was in 26/11, whether it is in all of the attacks after that, despite the gravest provocation that Pakistan throws and hurls at India, Indians will not respond in the same way. So I think it is now the ball is in the court of our intelligence agencies and the security forces to nail the people who did this. And I hope that, yeah, go ahead.
In light of last night's attack, do you think it's time to revive once again your bill to declare Pakistan a terror state? And how will that help, even if it were to get passed?
So, Zakir, last time, and I think you and I spoke on this, yeah. I introduced a bill, there was a debate, many parliamentarians participated, and the Minister of State for Home said that, look, we don't really need a bill for this, we don't need the legislative powers for this. The government of India has the executive powers to do what it has to do against Pakistan. So there was no need for the legislation, and he requested me to withdraw it, and I withdrew it. What I am doing on the 28th of this month is a little different. I am introducing a resolution in Parliament and having the Parliament resolve that Pakistan be declared a terror state. So it will be the Parliament saying, in a sense, that we want Pakistan to be declared a terror state, and the government then having to respond to that. It is a little different from introducing a private legislation, because the private legislation was about enacting a law. Yeah. And when the government says you don't need a law, the law got withdrawn. But now what I am trying to do is, on the 20th of July, introduce a resolution, a parliamentary resolution. And the last resolution in Parliament was in 1994, when we condemned the terrorist attacks in Jammu and Kashmir. Now we are going further, I hope, with this resolution to say we should declare Pakistan a terror state.
No, tell me also something. Last time when you brought this bill, there was a feeling within government also that there was no need for this, and we spoke after that as well. Did anybody in government tell you that they were worried about possible diplomatic fallout of bringing such a bill? And is that why the government was wary?
No, No, I don't think so. I think it was clear, and if you look at the records of Parliament, the minister stood up in Parliament and said, look, we don't really need this. We recognize the emotion and the thought behind this bill. We don't need a law for it. We will take action against Pakistan when and at the right time and the place of our choosing, time and place of our choosing. I'm paraphrasing, he didn't use those words, but that's what he said. So obviously then there's no need to press a law. So I withdrew that, and I pressed what is now coming on the 28th of July, a resolution, which I hope all parliamentarians will stand and support, So if we as a parliament resolve that Pakistan must be declared a terror state, then in a sense it creates some pressure on the government to act on what the parliament's will is.
We're also breaking a story right now that the main suspect in last night's attack is believed to be a man named Abu Ismail. He's a Pakistani national. He's the Lashkar's South Kashmir commander. Once again, you know, how do you think the state should respond to this? It's very clear that the man who was the main orchestrator and the mastermind of last night's attack was also a Pakistani national.
No, look, I think the world is recognized, Zaka. When you have Representative Judge Ted Poe in the US Congress also say on record that Pakistan must be denied aid by the US because it is creating safe havens for terrorists. This is now no longer a secret. This is not a point of view that only Indians have. This is a global point of view that Pakistan is a center for terrorism. It is a haven. It provides these safe havens for people and organizations that make it their business to conduct terror on innocents. So I think, in a sense, the Amarnath massacre was a red line that Pakistan has crossed.
Yeah.
And I think we as Indians must, and the international community must now start responding to Pakistan as if truly a red line has been crossed by Pakistan.
Tell me something. I mean, even last September when the attack happened at the brigade headquarters in Uri and we had the surgical strikes in response to that, the sense was maybe Pakistan will mend its ways now. How do you think the government should respond to this attack, which you called a breach of the red line?
Yeah, no. So look, I don't want to speculate on what the government should do, but I think it is, for somebody like me, I am exasperated. I think if you take a popular poll amongst Indians all over the country, you'll find that most Indians are now done with this, the nonsense that Pakistan is hurling at this country and innocent lives are being lost. Not just Indians, I think the rest of the world has had up to their neck with Pakistan, and I think we really need to now move down the road, and I think the Prime Minister and the government is creating sufficient global consensus on the fact for decisive action against Pakistan. Pakistan has one advantage going for it, that is the support of China, and this strange dichotomy that China sits out there and wants to be a world power but hobnobs with North Korea and Pakistan, the two leading rogue states of the world. So we have to convince China, we have to work with China and say, look, this is not a relationship that is in the best interest of the world, and China must act on Pakistan before it becomes another North Korea where you have President Trump saying China is not doing enough.
Yeah.
So Pakistan has to be isolated. There is no doubt the government of India is doing a good job about doing it. There is sufficient global opinion on this. But we have to do what we have to do. The parliament has to do what it has to do.
Are you, I mean, again, as a parliamentarian, one would imagine on an issue such as this, something that concerns national security, there will be a broad political consensus. And yet, today we're seeing opposition leaders saying, there were security lapses. Some of the Congress party saying the Prime Minister should resign, the NSA should resign. As a parliamentarian, does it disappoint you that there is no political consensus on an issue such as this?
No, it's not disappointing, it's frustrating, Zaka. It is frustrating because it is so wrong. I think there are moments in the history of our country when people have to come together, and the rest of the world must see that we come together. We may have differences, I may not like you, you may not like me, but when there are people being killed in Amarnath, by terrorists, that is a time for India to speak as one and put aside those differences. There are those moments that we have seen in the past in this country. For some strange reason, the politics of our country has come to a stage where people take more satisfaction in quibbling and making these silly points rather than coming together and sending a concerted message to the Chinas of the world and the Pakistans of the world that India will not take this anymore. So yes, it is frustrating. I don't think it's disappointing. I have a stronger, I would, if I was not on live television, use stronger words. But it is not a good thing.
Okay. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, many thanks for speaking with us, and all the best for your resolution that you're planning to bring in the forthcoming session of Parliament, a resolution to declare Pakistan a terror state.